Hi everybody, welcome to the Odd Side of Dice YouTube channel. In this video we're going to talk about stripping. Now it's often been the case that a lot of people have jumped on various Facebook groups and various forums. Maybe they've got some old models that they bought from eBay, an older collection that they painted years ago, that they want to strip the paint off and repaint them now because they feel they're a little bit better at painting. They just want to update them, or again, like we're saying, get them off eBay, but they want to put them into their own army, so they want to make a match with maybe the rest of an army they've already got. So a lot of people go up and ask about what the best product is for being able to strip old paint off the existing models, and there's normally a plethora of answers from various different people about what products to go for, etc, etc. Now one of the main ones that comes up is from the US. There's a product that most hobbyists in the US and on YouTube always rave about, and that's being LA Totally Awesome, which is a product that's available from their dollar store. But in the UK we can't get this product as easy as maybe you can do in the States, and definitely we can't get it for $1. Amazon search will point you that LA's Totally Awesome is available for about £8 to £9 a bottle here in the UK. So in this video we're hoping to have a look at another couple of choices and see what we think is the best or the most interesting to you guys, depending on the project you've got to do. Now I've chosen 3 models from my collection, all older GW sculpts that have been painted roughly in the last year, and they're all metal, and we're going to strip these down and see how close we can get them to bare metal again. Now the reason I've chosen these 3 models is mainly because I know because they've been painted in the last 12 months, then the paint that goes on them, the techniques that we used, the matte varnish that was used to finish them off will be pretty much exactly the same for each model. So we're going to have a good benchmark for the test of the 3 products that we're going to carry out. Now the 3 products we're going to use is, first we're going to go with a product from Green Stuff World. I believe last year they just released their paint remover product, which is a product from a named company within the miniature and hobby industry that would be aimed at a specific task. So we want to see, you know, is those products the best way to go because they're designed for us. The next is a product that I've used for stripping for countless number of years, and this came through from us as a hint from Luke over at Geek Gaming channel, YouTube channel, and it was probably one of the first ones he did because he was filming it in his kitchen, quite like that I've got here with the phone on the go, and he was using methylated spirits. Now methylated spirits is a product used within the painting and decorating industry for cleaning up of paint spills and removing it from areas that you didn't want it. So it's a product that's aimed towards sorting out issues with like water-based paint that they have in that industry, etc, etc. And he used it quite effectively on his channel, and it's the one that I've always gone to since then. Now last one, we're going to try and find an equivalent to the LA's Totally Awesome, or the other one that gets mentioned quite a lot. It's something called Simple Green. Now these products are essentially cleaning products, and especially with LA's Totally Awesome, it's talking about it being a degreaser. So just when passing, just going through one of my local discount pound stores, etc, etc here in the UK, one of the products I came across was this one. Now again, it's a cleaning product, and it specifically says that it's a degreaser on the front. So what we're going to do is maybe have a look and see if this is the UK equivalent of LA's Totally Awesome. If so, hopefully this video will help with those projects that you've got coming out, the ones that you want to strip down, and it might mean that you actually go about thinking about other products that may not be the more expensive products, but which might do the job of an equal nature to something that you could do that you're going to spend some extra money on. Now with this, we're going to try and do it as quite scientifically as I can hash out. I've got 3 containers which each of the models will go in, and again I'm going to try and use about the same amount of each one of the solutions. So the elbow grease, the methylated spirits and GW's paint remover, I'm going to use equal amounts in the box themselves. So you know, I can't be saying about, well, that only worked better because there was more solution in there, etc, etc. The model's going to sit in there first for 1 hour, and then we're going to take it out, give it a scrub with a toothbrush under hot water and see if it's started doing anything yet. If not, they'll go back in, and again we'll be left for 6 hours. Again, we'll take them off, scrub them down again, and then finally, if the paint hasn't been removed at that point, then we're going to leave them overnight, come back the next day and see where we end up after an overnight soak for each of these. Now, a lot of people will turn around and say to you when you're stripping models as well, that one of the other things it's going to make the process go quickly is the presence of one of these ultrasonic cleaners. Now, these are, you know, a lot of the time specifically designed for cleaning of jewellery, etc, etc. And what they do, they agitate the cleaning medium with ultrasonic pulses that make it work a bit faster. But what I'm trying to do, and what we try to do with these videos, is trying to make them as cost effective as possible. So we're not going to use any kind of specialist equipment that you would have to go out and buy as well, especially not an ultrasonic cleaner, because some of them can run into a considerable amount of money, and is it worth you investing in one for the project you're doing, etc, etc. So what we're going to look at, first off, we're going to get the models into the little tubs that I've got available for them, get the solution and get them going. Now, one of the things that's often talked about with anyone who's printing and who's stripping products is to make sure the medium your model is in doesn't get affected by this product. Now, although we're using metal for all 3 tests, but what I'm going to do is actually, in each tub itself, I'm going to chuck some bits of plastic sprue off the GW kit. Everyone who knows who's got stuff from Forge World, the resin tab that you normally get with all the parts connected to it, a bit of that is going to go in each one, and then there's going to be other resin from companies such as Stormcrow and Cromlech, who are also going to be getting that, because you want to see how these products react with the different mediums, the material that the models are made of, and make sure that any one of these products that we're going to make forward isn't going to have an adverse effect on the miniatures material itself. So we're going to get one, I'm going to shove everything in, and we'll come back in an hour. So see you in a little bit. So what then did we end up with? Well, it's in the videos that basically the Green Stuff World product, the one that's actually specifically designed for removing paint from miniatures, is the one that performed the best. It only took us an hour of leaving it in the solution, and it come out, and with the minimal amount of brushing with the old toothbrush, the paint just completely fell off it, and it was an as new miniature that was left behind. So obviously you'd expect that something from Green Stuff World, something that's going to be actually specifically designed to do the job it's going to do, should be the one that performs the best. Now, I was quite surprised with the methylated spirits, the one that I've used continuously for a good few years, and how it seemed to struggle compared to the other two. Now, the top level varnish and top level paint, it seemed to get away with no problem. But when it come down to the actual the primer that was used on the model, it struggled for hours to be able to get that to remove, until eventually I got bored of it and just put it into the Green Stuff World solution just to finish it off, because I wasn't going to wait around for another 3 or 4 hours for it to actually work and actually bring you a result compared to the other two. Now, the elbow grease, the one that we were looking at to being the UK equivalent of LA's Totally Awesome, seemed to work quite well. Obviously not as good as the Green Stuff World product, but again, we sort of knew that going into this process anyway. But it definitely was comparable. I mean, we only left it in the second run that we did with the brushing was only an hour after the first brushing, because it seemed that stuff was working at quite a more exponential rate than what we thought was going to happen. So, and to be quite honest, only after the second hour there were minor bits that we had to go out, and instead of a brush we had to pick out with the point of a hobby blade, or maybe some kind of little metal skewer that you might have to take it out. But really, really good, really impressed with it. So what did we come down with? What's our conclusions? Well, product that's designed is the one that's been worked out, but it is the most expensive. So therefore then, it all depends on the project you're doing. We can see from the picture that the actual bottle size of the Green Stuff World product is comparably smaller to the other two. So you've got to weigh the pros and cons about how many models you're going to be envisioning stripping. If you bought an army off eBay that you want to strip down, then maybe the Green Stuff World product is not the one to go with. I mean, the other one, the benefit that methylated spirits has is that a lot of the time you can reuse it over and over and over and over again. But you could see from the high-speed footage that the Green Stuff World product actually started to get tinted by the paint that it was removing, because obviously the paint is mixing with the solution. So I don't know how long that longevity of the product is going to last, and it's maybe something that we'll have to look at a bit more in the future. But if you've got a big army project, just bought it off eBay, probably a couple of hundred figures that you've got for cheap. You want to strip them down because you want to paint them for yourself. And get yourself to one of the paint stores. See if you can pick up a bottle of that elbow grease if you're in the UK, because it is literally, I think that size bottle that I got is literally a couple of pounds over here. It wasn't in a pound shop, but it was in one of those more bargain priced shops that we have over here in the UK. For a couple of quid for a bottle that size, again, I think it's going to be reusable because it's a cleaning product. It doesn't smell as bad as the Dettol used to be, one of the ones that a lot of people still say is the best product for doing it, etc, etc. But out of the three, if it was my choice, I only tend to get odd models that I want to restrip. So I'm glad I've got the Green Stuff World product in my hobby cupboards, in my arsenal to be able to use, that I can just throw a miniature in for an hour, and after an hour it's pretty much going to be sparkling clean. Basically it's going to be back to whatever the original material was and whatever the base level was. But I'm going to keep a bottle of that elbow grease. I mean, I've got it now. I've literally used a small amount of at the bottle itself. I've done a couple of stripping projects with it already, and it's been impressive both times, so I'm going to keep that on hand as well, and then we'll see what the future holds. Now, the one thing that we did do is have the other materials in the stripping products for a prolonged period of time to see if they would have any effect, the cleaning products would have any effect on the material. Now, for both the methylated spirits and the elbow grease, after a couple of hours there was nothing to either the plastic, the resin from Spellcrow, or the GW resin from Forge World. It wasn't getting softer, it wasn't getting more brittle, we weren't able to pick it apart, etc, etc. The only problems occurred is with the Green Stuff World product and the GW resin, so the Forge World resin. It did seem like it was starting to eat away at the resin itself. You could see various areas where some of the resin had completely disappeared off the model. You could see that when I was, hopefully on a high-speed video, when I was picking away at it, you could see that it was coming away onto my fingers, so it was starting to have an effect on the Forge World resin. Now, again, I can't say how bad of a problem that would be for you, because again, I did leave that resin in there for a good couple of hours after the product had done what it needed to do to strip the paint off. So you have to balance it up. Are you just going to leave it in there long enough for it to do the job it's going to do, then take it out and then hopefully it doesn't have an effect on the resin? I don't know. All I can say is at some point that it was having, after a couple of hours, starting to have an effect on the Forge World resin, so it's something to keep in mind going forwards. Hope you found this little video useful. We're always happy here at Outside the Dice Podcast to do some of these videos, to have a look at different products, different tools that we've got, different processes that we could be carrying out. So if there's anything you want us to have a look at, or any questions that you want to ask, please don't hesitate to put them into the comments below. Again, I've only shown you 3 products. There are countless others that people recommend for this process. So if you've got another recommendation that you've tried out, again, please share that in the comments below, so people who watch this video can have as much information as they want and can make a decision based on what they want to do. And that's all we're here for. We're not here to say, go get this one, go get that one, etc, etc. We're not at all affiliated with any manufacturers or anything like that, so we can give you honest reviews about it and don't have to just look at maybe what the information is on the company's website. That being said though, if there are any companies out there who would like to take this modelling Pepsi challenge with us, if you think you've got a product that outstrips anything else on the market and you want us to do an honest review of it, so you can say, well, here you go, here's the test. We are only too happy to be able to don our white lab coats, myself and Ian, and see what we can come up with and see what we can report back, not only to you, the manufacturer, but everybody else who's watching the video. So thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, remember all the usual YouTube spiel down below. Like button, subscribe, and all the rest of it, etc, etc. Share around to anyone you think it might be a useful video for, and it'd be great. And hopefully we'll see you on the next one, which should be, I think, the next podcast, where we've got a couple of guests coming up, and we'll see what we have a chat about on there, and we'll again see if it's something that you guys might be interested in. Okay guys, thanks for watching, see you next time.